Pull a calendar off your wall. You're holding a theory. The theory says time is a line. It runs from left to right. The past is behind you. The future is ahead of you. And the arrow only points one way. Most of us never question this. It's the water we swim in. But about a third of the people on this planet do not think about time the way you probably do. And once you see how they think about it, you can't quite go back. This is video 3. We've talked about prediction. We've talked about how everything is connected. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to question the calendar itself. The way you probably think about time has a name. Historians call it linear progress time. It came out of Europe. It got exported to most of the world over the last 300 years, mostly through colonization, industry, and clocks. Especially clocks. Linear progress time has 3 quiet assumptions baked into it. 1, time moves forward, never sideways. 2, the future is bigger, faster, richer than the past. 3, history is a story of improvement. You can hear those assumptions everywhere. In the way we say we're falling behind, or this is so 2010. In the way every politician promises a brighter tomorrow. In the way progress and future are used as if they meant the same thing. This idea that tomorrow should be measurably better than today is younger than you think. Before about 1750, almost nobody believed it. Most cultures, for most of human history, didn't picture time as a line at all. They pictured it as something else. A circle, a spiral, a river that loops back on itself. A relationship between ancestors and the unborn that you stand inside, not in front of. 3 of those frameworks are useful right now, not as exotic curiosities, as thinking tools you can borrow. 3 frameworks, 3 ways of standing inside time that are not the line you grew up with. We'll take them one at a time. Pause and think. When you imagine the future, which way are you facing? Forward, up, out? Sit with that for 3 seconds. 3 seconds of silence. Hold that answer. We'll come back to it. First framework, circular time. Many indigenous traditions across the Americas, parts of Africa, and Aboriginal Australia describe time not as an arrow but as a wheel. The seasons return. The generations return. Events rhyme with earlier events. The point is not that nothing changes. The point is that change happens inside a pattern that comes around. Picture it like this. You're not walking toward the future. You're standing inside a wheel that's turning. What's coming has, in some form, been here before. The drought returns. The boom returns. The grief returns. The grandchild returns the gesture of the grandparent. Your job isn't to predict the wheel. Your job is to read where on the wheel you are. And here's the strange thing. This is not a primitive idea. It's how every farmer who has ever lived has actually thought about time. Where this matters and where it gets useful for you is in how you read data. A linear thinker sees a pandemic and says, this is unprecedented. A circular thinker sees a pandemic and says, this is the 7th one I know of. And we knew the 8th was coming, we just didn't know when. Same data, different story, different reaction, different preparation. 2020 felt unprecedented to almost everyone in the wealthy world. It would not have felt unprecedented to the Black Death survivors of 1352, or the influenza survivors of 1918, or the AIDS activists of 1986. A circular thinker would have looked at the line of pandemics, 14th century, 19th, 20th, the SARS scare of 2003, and said the wheel is turning again, and we are roughly here on the wheel. Now that doesn't tell you the date, but it tells you to keep masks in the warehouse. It tells you the supply chain you built for never again is going to break. The circular thinker doesn't predict the future. They prepare for the return. You'll see this matter for the future of food, our recurring case study. A linear thinker plans agriculture for steadily rising yields. A circular thinker plans agriculture for the drought decade that keeps showing up every 40 or 50 years, the way it did in the 1930s, the 1970s, and the early 2010s. Hold this distinction. Linear framing, predict the trend, optimize for growth, treat surprise as failure. Circular framing, read the cycle, optimize for the return, treat surprise as having forgotten the pattern. You don't have to pick one. The trick is knowing which one a situation calls for. Second framework, 7-generation thinking. This one comes from the Haudenosaunee, the Iroquois Confederacy of what is now the northeastern United States and southeastern Canada. It is one of the oldest continuously functioning democracies in the world, and it has a rule that gets quoted a lot, but rarely understood. The principle says, In every important decision, consider the impact on the seventh generation to come. Roughly 150 years from now, people you will never meet, who will never thank you, who will never know your name. But here's the part most quoters miss. The full principle says you also stand on the shoulders of the seventh generation behind you. People who never met you, who never knew your name, who made decisions 150 years ago that determined what you can do today. You aren't standing in front of the future. You're standing in the middle of a span of 14 generations. That changes what counts as a good decision. A quarterly decision asks, what's the return in 3 months? A decade decision asks, what's the trajectory? A 7-generation decision asks, will the soil be healthy when my great-great-great-grandchild plants in it? These aren't the same question. They aren't even compatible questions. Most of the systems we live inside, companies, elections, news cycles, are wired for the quarter. Almost nothing is wired for the 7th generation. You can see what happens when nothing is. American farmland topsoil is depleting at roughly 10 times the rate it's being formed. That's a quarterly decision repeated for 60 years. A 7-generation thinker would have said no around 1965. 10 times. That's the speed of withdrawal from an account that took 10,000 years to fill. You don't need a forecast to see how that movie ends. You need a different time horizon than the one your last quarterly report uses. 7-generation thinking is not nostalgic. It is brutally practical. It treats the soil, the climate, the institutions, and the language as accounts you are obligated to leave fuller than you found them. That obligation is what makes it different from regular long-term thinking. Regular long-term thinking is about you, planning ahead. 7-generation thinking is about a chain of obligation. You inherit forward. You receive from people who are gone. You repay backward by leaving something for people who aren't here yet. The unit of measurement is not your lifetime. You can use this even if you have no children. The Haudenosaunee principle isn't biological, it's relational. Your 7th generation is whoever inherits your decisions. Third framework, kaizen, and the long now. Kaizen is a Japanese word usually translated as continuous improvement. That translation is technically correct and almost completely useless. The word actually does something stranger. Western progress imagines big leaps, the breakthrough, the disruption, the launch. Nkuri kaizen imagines the opposite. Improvement so small you can barely see it, repeated for a generation. The factory floor that gets 1/10 of 1% better every week. The chef who adjusts one ingredient every season for 40 years. The point isn't humility. The point is that kaizen lives in a different relationship with time. Not where will I be in 10 years, but what is the smallest thing I can do today that I would still be doing in 10 years? This is the philosophy that built the modern Toyota production system, which was later copied by every major manufacturer on Earth. It is also the philosophy that built one of the world's longest-running businesses, Kongo Gumi, a Japanese construction firm that operated continuously from the year 578 until 2006. 14 centuries. The next oldest company on most rankings is a German innkeeper at about 1,000 years. Most companies you've heard of are younger than your grandmother. Kaizen-style continuity is not just an idea, it's a record. There's a related idea, much younger and explicitly Western, called the long now. In a mountain in West Texas, a group is building a mechanical clock designed to keep accurate time for 10,000 years. It ticks once a year. The century hand advances every 100 years. The cuckoo comes out every millennium. The clock is not a toy, it is an argument. The argument is, civilization is roughly 10,000 years old, and if it's going to last another 10,000, we need to learn to operate on a horizon longer than the next election. The clock is meant to make that horizon physical. When you stand next to it, you are no longer at the end of history. You are halfway through. Both kaizen and the long now do the same trick. They slow you down by enlarging the frame. 3 frameworks, 3 time units, 3 different things they're for. Circular thinking is for preparing for return. 7-generation thinking is for repaying obligation. Kaizen is for staying in motion forever, one small step at a time. You don't have to adopt any of these. You don't have to become a different person. You just have to know they exist. Because once you do, the line is no longer the only theory in the room. Now, why does this matter for the actual practice of foresight? Remember the cone we drew in video 1? The one that said there is no the future. There are many possible futures fanning out in front of us. What this video adds is that the shape of that cone changes depending on the time frame you're using. A linear thinker's cone runs 10 years out. A kaizen thinker's cone runs 10,000 small steps out. A 7-generation thinker's cone runs 150 years out. A circular thinker's cone isn't a cone at all. It's a wheel. Different cultures have built different cones. None of them are wrong. Each one is good at seeing certain things and blind to others. Linear time is good at optimization, making the next thing better than the last thing. It is bad at noticing repeats. Circular time is good at preparation, recognizing patterns. It is bad at sudden, unprecedented breakage. 7-generation thinking is good at stewardship, leaving things better than you found them. It is bad at moving fast. Kaizen is good at endurance, keeping going for 1,000 years. It is bad at radical reinvention. A practiced futures thinker doesn't pick one. They use them like lenses. Different problem, different lens. The future of food is a circular problem. Droughts come around. It is also a 7-generation problem. Soil takes centuries. It is also a kaizen problem. Every farmer adjusts one variable per season for decades. None of those framings is enough on its own. All three are needed. Where the three frameworks overlap is where most useful foresight actually happens. The wheel tells you what's coming back. The 7 generations tell you what you're obligated to leave behind. Nyami, Kaizen tells you what to do tomorrow morning. Hold all three at once, and you're already doing the thing this course is trying to teach you. We started this video by asking you to pull a calendar off your wall. We're going to end somewhere similar. Your micro task before the next video is short. Find someone over the age of 60. Could be a parent, a neighbor, the person at the diner counter. Ask them what they thought the future would look like when they were 20. What did they get right? What did they get wrong? You're not doing this to embarrass them. You're doing it to see, in a single conversation, how much the cone of plausibility has shifted and how much it has stayed the same. That's circular and linear thinking in one talk. You'll learn more in that conversation than I can tell you in 10 more videos. 3 takeaways. 1, time is a theory, not a fact, and the one you grew up with is one of several. 2, linear, circular, 7-generation, and kaizen are tools, not identities. You can borrow any of them today. 3, useful foresight uses several lenses at once. Almost no real-world problem fits inside one frame. Next video. We've spent 3 episodes telling you the future is uncertain, plural, and depends on which calendar you're holding. Next time we go the other way. We talk about how much of it is actually under your control, which it turns out is more than you've been told. See you there.